Hey guys, Amy Keys here with the Digital Capital Company. Today I wanted to revisit a couple of apps that I reviewed. The first one is WaveBox. Remember this one? WaveBox basically is a container for your apps. Instead of opening everything in the browser tab, you can pull them all into one kind of central tool that allows you just to click up and down between the different accounts that you have. Now, ultimately, I decided to not use WaveBox, and I'll tell you why. There's nothing wrong with the service. I think it's great, but for specific people. Now, I do work in the browser a lot. If I weren't so reliant on the Chrome extensions that I have in my Chrome browser, it would probably be just fine for me. So if you're not using things like I have my LastPass extension in my browser, I have an eyedropper tool when I need to pull brand colors from websites. I have a image cropping tool. I've got some stats tools, a timer. I have so many extensions that I use regularly that it became frustrating for me. And anytime I needed to use one of those, I ended up having to jump out of WaveBox anyways and open the tab that I needed to work in right in the browser. Excuse me. So if you're not reliant on extensions in your browser very much and you just need one place to kind of, open and view maybe your email, Facebook, things like that, I think WaveBox would be just fine. If you're reliant on browser extensions in Chrome, I think you'll find it frustrating, but otherwise it'll be just fine for you. The second app I'd like to visit is MEISTERTASK. I am happy to report that yes, I am still using MEISTERTASK, and I actually upgraded to a pro version just yesterday. I'm pretty stoked that I am still using it because I definitely have a tendency to find apps, try them out, I don't find something that just doesn't fit for me and I have to switch to another one. So I'm still with it and it's working for me really well. So I wanted to show you a few things that I've learned along the way and some of the features that I now can use because I'm on the pro version. So here on my page is my actual dashboard. One thing that they haven't changed yet that is coming because they replied to the last video that I did is they're supposed to be reconfiguring this dashboard area because as you can see, there's still a lot of space here that's being underutilized. So I'm looking forward to that coming out. But one thing that I learned, at least for how I work, is I started off on the left-hand side with projects, and I was listing instead of by project, I was doing everything by client name. So as I was continuing to add clients and work in MEISTERTASK, I was finding that it was getting just unruly to kind of have all the client names over here. So I started to group things by category instead. I have my business vision tasks that I'm working on to grow my business. I've got current projects going on, and I have some follow-up projects under my legacy. So depending on what category things fall in, that's how I group the projects. So I've made an example project here to show you some things that can be done. So in my example, I would have a particular client name here. And what's cool about MEISTERTASK is you can change these categories to whatever you want. So if you like a Trello style board, you can make this to, pending, in progress, done. You can change, you can have one of these a client, one of these can be tasks, another can be to do, and you can change these to anything that you prefer that suits your work style, which I really like. So in my case, I've got different clients going across here. And then I can add different tasks underneath. Task 1, there you go. And I've been utilizing tags as well as, let's see, I added an attachment for the first time and that turned out really good. But what you'll notice here is I have incorporated a toggle timer. And even though MEISTERTASK does track time, when I was on the free version, I didn't have access to reports. So as a workaround, I installed Toggle and connected it via Zapier to Airtable. And anytime I would start and stop the timer, it would automatically push the task, the client name, and all of that information over into Airtable. And I just use Airtable to kind of, look at my time and where I was spending it and make sure that I was working on things that I should be working on. So you can do that with Toggle, which is super cool. Now that I'm on the Pro version, I'm going to see which method I prefer better. You can also track by project and see, the total time. You could do it by user as well, change the kind of chart, change the time frame. Here's a look at how it's showing this here by tasks. Now, somewhere I had seen earlier where you can export this to CSV. So it just saves me a step using the Toggle timer because it's automatically doing that quote export for me. It's automatically dropping it. I could make another Zap that automatically downloads the CSV, but that just for me might be a little more trouble that I don't want to have to do. But now you know how that works. The other thing I wanted to show you, it's another reason why I upgraded to Pro, is right in here on each of these little categories, you can, change the appearance, add a description, all that stuff. But Actions is super handy. What I found I was doing was each time I added a new task, I needed to tag it and assign it. And I was having to do that manually. So when you upgrade, you get these actions. And these are all the things that you can do. And you can, automatically assign a task to somebody, change the status. You can do all these things when you have the Pro. So I am now using that and finding that very handy. You can add tasks to a section with an email, but I'm going to jump over here and show you how MEISTERTASK is integrated right with my Gmail. So I've emailed myself a task so you could see what this looks like. So over here on the right-hand side, you'll see this bar, and that is the MEISTERTASK integrated. So if you click on that, what it's going to do is it's going to pull in your project categories. You can even say what section it should go in. You could change the title of the task if you want. And then a lot of times what I'll do is, I'll just take out the signature stuff in here. So this is allowing me to get tasks out of my email and over into my task or project management system. And then if there's an email that I actually need to reply back to, it's still in my email system. So I can reply, but at least the task is managed in the project management tool. We hit create task, and that's going to go in the DCC Vision to do. Now you could click this and go right to it. What I usually do though is I always have my MEISTERTASK open. So you could see here, if we scroll down, it dumped it right in here super fast in my to-do at the bottom. And there's the task. Because I have actions set, it automatically assigned it to me. I didn't have an action set to assign a tag because this category of projects doesn't have any tags. But if it did, it would have automatically assigned this specific tag that I asked for. The other thing you can do is in Pro is change the background. I believe in the free one you just have colors, but if it's important to you to have things look nice visually, which I do appreciate that. The only thing is I find when there's a picture in the background, it's a little more difficult to kind of see your tasks, so you can play with whether you want to use that or not. But overall, I'm happy with MEISTERTASK, and I'm finding it pretty awesome. I hope you found that useful, and if you have any questions about some of the Pro features that I went over, please let me know, and I'll see you soon in the next video.